This week on Car Obsession, I get a wiggle on.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Things get a bit kinky.
It actually kinks in.
And I moan about Fiat's design.
Rubbish design. Thank you, Fiat. Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and once more to Bella, my Fiat Seicento Sporting. As you can tell by the title of this video, today I'm replacing the rocker cover gasket, or the cam cover gasket as you may refer to it as. The reason for replacing it is because, well, the existing one is leaking. I think it's quite a common thing on these, and in all honesty, to rectify it is pretty easy. So this isn't strictly a how-to guide because I'm not a trained mechanic, that is my disclaimer. However, if you do learn something from this or you found it useful, then of course that is an added bonus. So the tools you'll need for this job are very, very minimal. In fact, I think all I need is a ratchet and a 10mm. I need to take off the airbox or get it out of my way. Right, there we go. Let's undo that. Just two clips. Oh, that one always gets a bit snagged. Right, let's remove that from there, like so. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Right, and pop that to one side. Two 10mm here. Right, it's always handy to have a magnetic tray to hand, which is, I think it's just out of shot. There we go. Right, there's a clip down here. So I'll just zoom you guys in. In fact, let me just take it off my camera, off my tripod. So there's a clip there. To break it, you just need a right angle pick. You just lift it up and take it off like so. I've already pre-done that. I did it before I actually started filming. So it's just a case of removing. There we go. Right, let's dispose of that clip. We've got a new one to put on. Right, so we can get that out of the way a bit more. And then it's very simplistic. All you have is just 4 10mm bolts holding the rocker cover on. So you have one there. Just get it in focus a bit more. One there. You've got one at the back, which is, where are we? It's just there. And the other one is just here. Now, if you're doing this job, it's probably a good idea to replace the seal that goes into the ignition coil pack. So there's a seal which lives in here. I've already replaced that. I actually did that when I did the timing belt. So that's all fresh and renewed. So it's just all about the cam cover gasket, the rocker cover gasket. The torque setting for these is only 8 Nm, so you really don't need to go mad. If anything, if you haven't got a torque wrench, I'd say just make sure they're just nipped up tight. So you don't need to over tighten them or go mad, because yeah, you're just going to do damage. I'm going to try and take this off in a sequence, but get them cracked off first. Yeah, I don't think they've been disturbed for quite some time. Let's go to the other side. I think the oil filler cap's going to need to come off for this to give me a little bit better access. Yes. Because must confess, it is quite milky in there. Don't know if you can see it on camera. That may just be condensation, because this car does do quite a lot of short journeys. I think the previous owner did quite a lot of short journeys in it as well. I think this has always been a bit of a runabout, but that's what it's designed for, really, isn't it? Move that out my way as well, because that's getting a little bit annoying. So there's a plastic trim here which helps to keep the ignition leads in place, so just take that off. And now, well, hey, right, okay, it is removed. So now I'm just going to get some brake cleaner and just a bit of blue roll just to clean it up. Now the cover is off and the old gasket has been removed with it, just spend a bit of time just cleaning it up. There, I've got some brake cleaner and a bit of rag, and then you'll want to get rid of any old sealant from the previous repair. Something like a Stanley knife or a flathead screwdriver. Just be careful. You can as well. In the past, I've tried plastic scrapers, but in my own experience, they are rubbish. So, yeah, I'm going to use a flathead, but I'm just going to make sure just to be gentle, not to cause any damage to the head. Just take your time with it. There's no rush. Just gently lift off the old sealant, and hopefully it should come off quite easily. So that's coming off nicely. This is a lot nicer compared to when I did the removed the thermostat gasket on my MX-5. That was yeah, that was not so fun, but this isn't too bad. I'll get yeah. Hopefully you can see the bits of old sealant on there. Okay, so before I go any further, I want to make sure that the gasket I have is correct before I throw this one away. Granted, it is leaking, but I don't want to get rid of this one and find this one's wrong, and then yeah, I've got nothing to fit back to the vehicle. So that looks to be a-okay to me, so that's all good. Right, so with that in mind, I'm happy to remove the old gasket. Yeah, it's quite hard. It's quite firm and rigid. It's yeah, probably a good thing I'm replacing this. So one thing to know, on the rocker cover, the cam cover, on one side, it actually kinks in. So it almost looks as if that is being damaged, but no, that is how it is, because it lines up with the gasket. So as you can see, as you can hopefully see, that bit of the gasket is a bit thinner. So that's a good way of knowing that you've got it on the right way. And you will need to manipulate this a bit, because where it's been scrunched up in the packaging for so long, it's kind of lost its shape as to how it would go on. Right. Now, some of you would probably recommend applying sealant, some of you probably won't. By the way, this is an L-ring gasket. It's not a genuine Fiat gasket, but I would imagine L-ring probably made it for Fiat back in the day anyway. Yeah, the gasket is inexpensive, and as I'm sure you will see, the job isn't that difficult. So yeah, definitely worth having a go yourself. So before we put the new gasket on, along with the cam cover, rocker cover, I'm just going to apply a bit of sealant just to these four corners here, just to help with the sealing process. Don't need too much, just a little P shape. There we go, that's plenty. There we go. A bit there. And a bit there. Now I must admit, part of me is tempted to seal it all the way around, but shouldn't really need that. If it's a good quality gasket, then, which it is because it's L-ring, then we should be okay. Now it's just a case of reinserting the bolts and putting them to the correct specification. And really and truly, what you want to do is you want to give time for the sealant to cure. So once I've done this, I'm just going to park the car a few yards away and then just leave it so this can cure over time, and hopefully no more leaks, because we don't like leaks. Right, so I'm going to tighten these down in sequence. Right, so now I'm ready to torque things down. As mentioned, 8 Newton meters, so a very low torque setting indeed. So yes, no need to go crazy with the tightening. Right, I've actually got a torque wrench. Yeah, nice. Right, so we'll just go back and check them all. Lovely. Put this annoying filler cap back on. Rubbish design, thank you Fiat. Right, so that needs to be reattached. That needs to go back on like so. Right. Oh, that needs a new clip. Right, clip. That's it. So everything's all back together. I'm going to clean off the area because A, it's pretty grimy, and B, I want to make sure that this repair has been successful. Therefore, if it's all clean, I can recheck for any new leaks in a few hundred miles, just to make sure that everything is all hunky-dory. So yes, let's give this area a bit of a clean, and then I'd say it's pretty much job done. So there we have it guys, one new gasket fitted to the rocker cover, or the cam cover if you will, and as you can see this is a very straightforward job. So if you are a hobbyist mechanic like me, well I wouldn't call myself a mechanic, but if you're a hobbyist like me, this is definitely a job you can do yourself. And even if you're relatively new at working on cars, I still think this is a job you can do yourself. Parts are cheap, you don't need any specialist tools, you don't even need a ramp, you don't even need to raise the vehicle. You can do this on your driveway or even on the side of the road if needs be. So yes, straightforward job, and another thing to tick off the to-do list on Bella, my Seicento Sporting. If you have found this video useful or helpful, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.